welcome everybody, and more beautiful day to chat about the science of life, Ayurveda and Dinachariya, the yogic and Ayurvedic ways of enhance your well-being and prosperity. So the Vedic knowledge is there for prosperity and for health aspect of our being. And there are procedures described in Ayurveda what you can do to enhance your well-being. And there are things like a morning routine which are beneficial for all doshas, for all characteristics, for all predominances. Because dosha, look at it as not just a constitution, is used quite a lot in West as a constitution. Name it constitution, just more people can understand it easily, but actually translation of the dosha term means issue. So it's more of tendencies to certain disease. Understanding your dosha, you understand what tendency you have to certain disease. And so then you are more aware. Dinachariya, prescriptions, which is Dina means day. There are 15 procedures which could be done. But don't get overwhelmed about it. It's just think of it, what better could you do? If it takes 2.5 hours, let it be it, what else? Like what? It's the way you come into harmony with yourself and with your body, and it feels good, particularly if you get it right and wake up in the right time, which we will talk about through. So Dinacharya is the daily routine is based on of the health. In fact, if you don't do it, it's impossible to be healthy. Like particularly the first thing in Dinacharya, so the procedure number 1 and most important one is the Brahma Muhurta, is waking up time. So when you wake up. So this is the base layer. The only one thing described specifically, given specific time, it's only this. The rest will fall in place. So if you just get this right, Brahma Muhurta, the rest procedures will just come naturally to you. And there are 3 Ayurvedic originals, and I have one of them today with me. It's Ashtanga Hridaya, and that's where you can find the Dinacharya chapter in this if you want to go deeper, and I would advise you go directly to original text. There are lots of nowadays this people who just like heard something there, there's Ayurvedic thing they heard, there's a scientific thing they heard, and then it's just become some kind of mash. When I also studied Ayurveda and as a practitioner, and then even then when I get to the original text, I was like, wow, this is like not like this. The way it's prescribed is different. Of course you need to adjust it to the modern days, but it's the 2 different things. There's a principle, which you stand like a rock with principle, and there is a style, which flows like a river. So you adjust the style, you adjust according to where you are, but the principles are there, and that's where I recommend to especially if you have connection to this knowledge, I don't think you are here as a coincidence. I think you probably known this before, and you just reminding yourself of something. You might be on the path already, and that's the beauty, that's the most important thing, where you trying different techniques and then you just click with something, you more like remembered it, and that's where you can master it, and that's where you can come back to your path and actually grow on it and develop so much faster and so much more efficiently. So I believe you're here, you must have connection. So I don't think that random can happen like this. And when you read the original text, you can actually remember perhaps yourself doing that before, because it's thousands years long original text. And the Ashtanga Hridaya, why I recommend it, because it's written in quite a simple way. You can understand it well. There is also Shruta Samhita and Charaka Samhita. There are the two texts which are a little bit more involved, a little bit more kind of scientific, and it's not easy to understand. The main thing in Dinachariya to understand is the concept of time. The time is so vital, and can you imagine that our concept of time is only 100 years old? So that kind of like clock time, like precise minutes, seconds, it was actually here it was invented in UK. The trains needed to arrive and to stations in time and to like be sent in time, so the railway commanders decided to, well, we need to sort it out, we need to get some. And can you imagine how far it's gone now? You always hear this from people, oh, I don't have time, I don't have time, it's that rush, I just don't have time for anything, I don't have time. Are you talking about 10 procedures in the morning? What? No, we don't have time. There's some kind of idol, you know, in a clock where we kind of like rushing all the time. So that linear aspect, but actually it's not like this. The time is much more fluent, and you can see people, some of the genius people, how much they can do in one day. And you say, wow, he's got the same amount of time, but like he does this, he does that, and that helps so many people, is stuff like that. And it's that understanding that the time is given to us to transform, for growth, and it can be fluid. We can expand it, we can slow it down if we want to, with that understanding. Of course, if we entrain to the fast speed of the society, there's no way. So the society is speeding up nowadays. And have you heard of entrainment term? So the entrainment is actually a physical law where if you put two clocks with a pendulum next to each other and they are arrhythmic, they're not in synchronicity, and you come back next day, they start going in synchronicity. So this is the law. We synchronize with whatever environment we are in. So you listen to the music and you synchronize with that beat. Boom, 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 boom. You listen to, you go to the society, watch the TV, or you're in wherever you are where people rushing. You imagine yourself, go to London, Bank Street, and you just like, after a while, you just, oh, am I late or something? They're all going somewhere so fast. We can slow down, and you can slow down manually in a way. So you can do it yourself by just consciously, okay, I understand this is the rhythm, and I'm gonna step out of it. Maybe I tune into the slower music, if that's something you do, or I'm just gonna sit and enjoy my cup of tea, you know, just on the sun. You know, you see sometimes those older couples just sit there, enjoy the sun. So that's it, you know, like that's slow down, moved out of the pace. Who is the pace? Is it my pace? Am I gonna enjoy this pace? When we speed up so fast, we don't really notice our life, but we remember things where we actually slowed down, really were present in it. So, also, it's quite often with the communication is very important as well. So if you want to bind with someone or want to have a good relationship, you need to spend time and just find the same rhythm with them. If you just turn up from work and the person was at home It's just a different rhythm, and you're stepping in there and you're trying to maybe discuss something. Spend some time, maybe just breathe together, or there's some kind of ritual. Have a ritual to slow you down when you need to. There could be anything. So that concept of time is basically fundamental for Dinachariya. Well, if you understand that, everything else is just start unwrapping itself. And there are also cycler movement of the energy during the day. And we also, like part of nature, we depend on it and we function the same way. So the sunrise, when the sunrise awakes, everything else awakes. And just before the sunrise, there's the sattva guna, which is the quality of the material life, like a balanced state. So the best balanced state of the life. It's not too rushed, rajas, or not too dull, or like heavy, like night, for example. Tamas is called. So there are three main ones. And the first thing is to wake up in Brahma Muhurta. Muhurta is the hour, and Brahma is like a divine. So divine hour. Wake up in divine hours. Originally it's 30 Muhurtas in 24 hours. In text it says wake up in the last Muhurta of the night. So last Muhurta, one Muhurta is about 48 minutes. So if you divide 24 by, so that means 48 minutes before the sunrise. So that's your, and starts about 2.5 hours before sunrise. So this is the time, and there are also prescriptions. If you are, spiritual seeker, then you wake up like 2.5 hours. If you are just a great thinker, genius, or want to develop your faculties as a human, then you wake up 90 minutes before. And then if you're just a household and want to keep up and stay healthy, 60 minutes. And I think it's the last one is like 30 minutes if you're lazy. You know the one. So only one prescribes, and if you do it, all the biological rhythms are synchronized in the body. You feel uplifted for the rest of the day. So you feel that that sattvic energy, that balanced state, you embody it within you, and you go through the day with that kind of state. You're not too agitated, and you're not too heavy on the other side. Not too rajasic, not too tamasic. Also that time, the sattva time, is related to vata dosha. So it's a lightness, you will be light, and you will be kind of quick to grasp concepts, to be able to have a few seconds of the buffer before something hits you. You see it's coming. You see what I mean? Everything kind of slows down. You can react from your authentic self, rather than just like someone hits you and you punch him without even thinking back. So it's just that kind of quality can be gained from that time. Because if you wake up after 6, so it's a kapha time. Kapha is more of a heaviest energy, and that will be you start the day a little bit slower, and everything you kind of late a little bit to everything. You kind of constantly rush to get it done, but everything comes like on your toes, stepping something all the time, all day long. To do it, you just need to go to sleep earlier. 10 o'clock, 10, 11 is the way to do it. Other way, which helped me personally, is to also do it for someone. You just not do it for yourself, but perhaps that could help someone. So, I was at a retreat center. They were saying who wants to volunteer, do the bell every 4 in the morning. So I so I was like waking up like myself and then did that. And then I came back home. I was there still, like 4 o'clock, wake. And that's, yeah, finding that what can help. Here, for example, I know that I'm doing the early morning swim. I'm like, woke up, like, no way I'm gonna oversleep this. You know what I mean? It's not just for me. And this, if you find something, whatever it could be, for what you do, there might be something you can do. And then it's naturally will unwrap. So once you woke up, there's also other things we can go through how to do it, but let's move on. We've got 12 to go through, and I've got some things to test, and for the most patient ones I've got a present to give for one of the procedures. So once you wake up, it says you analyze your body. You don't rush like, oh, I'm late already. You know, like people wake up and like already like late. So you wake up and like, okay, just chill out there for a little bit. Don't go back, of course. Don't go back sleep. I think the most problem is people just go back to sleep. I normally do, what I do is I press the pressure points and I do a little yogic stretch in the bed. So, and the pressure points are in the middle of your palm, and then in between your index and a thumb. You can press it quite well. That's kind of activates the energy. Also, like massages each finger like this on the side of it. You're pressing. And you can stretch, and you do on the outside towards the fingers, the movement up and the movement down on the inside of the hand, and you just do that a few times, and that's kind of wakes you up a little bit. And then you bring the knees to your chest, so that's kind of allows the gases to pass and just sort of activates you. And then you do the fish pose, press the elbows into the ground and stretch. So you did this, and then you stretch the chest up, you open this up, and you look back in your bed, and then you put the knees to one side into the twist, and to the other side into the twist, and then you raise your legs into the stretch pose like this. You can do it on inhale or exhale, or just to engage your navel. That helpful for willpower. It just gives you that kind of activation straight away from the morning. And also, if you're aging as well, as we all do, you roll your ankle there and back to warm up. So because the knees need to be protected. So if you jump on an unwarm ankle, especially people with the stairs and stuff, it's best to warm up your ankles before in the morning. Also analyze your body. You can ask yourself, who am I? You can just directly ask yourself a question, or just come back to your body. Just see how it feels, and first sort of withdraw yourself and maybe see from outside the body, the condition of it, and then you move on to your day. First thing you come up, you can stretch as well on the tiptoes. Once you wake up, a couple of walks on the tiptoes with the stretching, and then Mala Muratyanga is called, is elimination. So first thing you do, wake up, you eliminate all the waste products from your body. That means number 1 and number 2. So that's if the number 2, the feces, you can't eliminate in the morning, that means the constipation is present. Unfortunately, that's how straightforward it is. I know some people do it wherever but wherever it comes. Some people do it once in a couple of days, 3 days. So that's a sign of constipation, and that's the big deal. That's actually can lead to quite lots of problems with your health. So the first thing first, and you need to get this right first. So don't take any food before you did your business toilet. And you can help yourself with some herbs and stuff. You can, if that's something you're experiencing, that Ayurveda can also help with some of the laxatives for your dosha, depending on your dosha, and there could be some herbs to help you. Like triphala, for example, in the evening, quite good for most dosha can work. Warm water and a triphala, 4 grams, can work. But you don't force it. You just be attentive. The Vata people can not notice that natural urge. So and just get on with the business, and that's the problem. It's scientifically proved that the way you sit on toilet is important, and if you squat, it promotes the relaxation of the venous muscles, so the elimination can happen complete. So empty bowels very well in the squatting position rather than sitting position. So that means buy yourself something which can sit on raised or just climb on it, so wherever works for you. Don't underestimate it. It's quite a thing as well if you have problems with the regularity of it. Next one is to wash yourself, and that could be this first wash of the day. That could be just those areas after the toilet. You can wash just them, particularly for Vata dosha. They don't really like the roughness, and so it needs to stay warm, so it's better to use water for that. All entries you wash off. Next one is the Danta Dhavana, which is Danta is teeth and Dhavana is the cleansing of the teeth. So there are ways in the scriptures prescribed. You could use some of the sticks, but we've got nowadays all sort of different brushes and stuff like that. But the paste which is sold now, it's not necessarily safe, I could say, because there's this chloride in it, which is just something really nonsense to have. I don't know. So it can be helpful for your pituitary gland, pineal gland. It's deactivated somehow. So choose the paste. If you're using paste rightly, the paste need to be so that it's also in Ayurveda. It's 3 tastes. It needs to be. It's the hot taste, the astringent is important, and normally is used those powders. I'm gonna pass it around, and you can buy them, Danta Dhavana powders, and you just stick your toothbrush in and then use it. It's the same. It's gonna work the same way. You can smell and just feel it. Pass it around. Also, you can make your own one. The bark of the oak is very astringent. You know, the astringent taste, which makes like mouth kind of saliva disappear almost, and then you can get something spicy.
Has that got eucalyptus in there?
There's if you buy one, the Ayurvedic one, there's from north and they're from south India, maybe 20 different herbs and stuff. So it's very good. You feel the difference with that. And then you do next one, procedure number 5 is the cleansing of the tongue with this kind of scraper. You can buy them quite quite cheaply, but I'll actually gonna present you one today. If you don't have one, you can get one. So this is so essential. I don't really understand why people think that the teeth clean is okay, but the tongue clean is something strange. Even Karen, I remember, like many years ago, she was like, "Oh, tongue clean, don't wanna do it." But she's chef. She's like professional chef, and I remember she was working in London in this one of the oldest vegetarian restaurants there, and head chef there. And then she tried that, and she was like, "Wow, this is amazing! My taste bud." Next one is you experience that bitter taste in your mouth, like a neem, for example, or something very bitter. It could be in a liquid form, just for a few seconds, and it says more like psychologically. It's kind of you experience the bitterness of life a little bit, just a touch. So you don't go into the day with that desire to constantly, constantly consume things, pleasure yourself every single day. You kind of understand, okay, this life is, it has both. It has a bit of bitterness, it has happiness, but can I be equanimous about it? Okay, you just experience that little bit of taste of bitter, and you kind of get back to to reality check, you can say. Number 7 is the sneha gandusha, which called the oil pulling nowadays. And there are several Ayurvedic oils. I'm gonna pass you around. You can smell as well. They're also quite bitter and stuff. But you can try on your finger or some, if you like. And they normally call Ayurveda stylam. Ayurveda stylam. Tylam is the oil. Ayurveda is the oil for the mouth. Ayurveda tylam. If you type in, you're able to buy it. And also look at the ingredients. It's like 50 ingredients.
You say, sorry, is that
oral pulling. You could also use depending on your constitution, again, ideally you use the best oil for it is the sesame oil, but not the sesame oil that is roasted, like you buy in those oriental supermarkets. Not really. We need a cold press oil.
I use coconut oil.
Yeah, coconut oil for pitta people is good.
And so you ingest it, did you say?
No, you just take a minimum of a tablespoon, like quite a good amount. Don't save on it. It's like people say, "Oh, I just take a little," and they have the bottle for like 2 months. So, take a good amount and you keep it for about 10-15 minutes
in
the mouth, and you can rinse it. So there are 2 ways of doing it. Either filling up the mouth completely and just keeping it there, or having a tablespoon or something, and just keeping it, washing it, swirling it in your mouth. About 15 minutes. You will feel the oil will disappear and it'll become like water, become very liquid. So what it does is absorbs all the pathogens from your oral area and pull it into the oil. And then you just throw it off you, so you just spit it out.
Not on the sink though, because they block the drains.
Yeah. Well, I think it's gonna as I said, it'll become almost liquidy.
Oh, okay.
So it's not gonna be that oily anymore, and it's actually also very good for just alienation of our body. It's important for our body, and we're gonna get to it about the oil and for our body. Like it's actually we need to top up that alienation. Like it's enough for 24 hours, and then we need extra. So to keep up. Then you wash the mouth with warm water and wash your eyes as well with the warm water. And ice I normally do with cold water. The ice have the quality of the fire, of the pitta, and for the rejuvenation for the eyes, it's better to open your eyes and splash them with the clean water, like splash them inside. That feels always good. In fact, for pitta people, for fire predominance, is actually important to do that, because the pitta can go towards the eyes, and can be issues with the eyes manifest in the eyes, and it's best to do it after food. For example, you just splash your eyes, because the eyes has this fiery qualities as well, because after food the digestion fire, everything wakes up, and you just, so it doesn't go to your eyes, you cool it down. So that's in the morning, and then you just wash that oil off the mouth. The next one is the nose. We put the drops, so we cleanse the nose. You can use here a neti pot. It's more of a yogic technique. In Ayurveda, there's often used the oil, so you can cut the corner. But ideally, you do the neti pot as well, with like a slight salty water to one side, and then to the other side it's coming out, and then with the warm water. So, and once you've done it, make sure you do a good amount of the Bhastrika breath, which we did in the morning, to dry up the passages of the nose, particularly in a cold weather. If you come out in cold weather with the residual of the water, you can get diseases very quickly. Cough can come and stuff like that. Best thing, again, here you can use that king of the oils, like sesame oils. You could use to alienation, because those passages are directly connected to our brain. So alienation of the nasal passages, it's moisturizing them, and that's also direct connection to your nervous system endings, and you want to keep it, particularly for the longevity. It's important procedure to do it daily, twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. For Vata dosha is must as well, because Vata is dry qualities of Vata present very naturally. You need to lubricate it, otherwise it's just dry off, and then you end up being nervous, or anxiety might come up as well. That kind of rigidity also can be caused. So with this procedure, you smoothen up. It's also your attitude will smoothen up a little bit. You become more soft, I guess, or more flexible to the thing coming to you. So there are other subtleties as well. We're talking about a couple of dozen of ingredients in those oils. If you get the specific Ayurvedic oils, like Anu Thailam, they call it. Anu Thailam, Thailam, Thailam. So Thailam is the oil, again the same as the Ayurvedic Thailam. Anu Thailam, ANU. And what you do, you just warm them in a cup. I know what I normally do. I boil the water. We'll talk about the water as well. I boil the water, fresh water. Don't drink overnight water. Just need to be. And then you put a small cup for the oil, so that it can warm as well. So you don't put the cold oil in hot water. Just put the bottle in the hot water and just cover it like this. And then you put 2 drops in each nostril. Okay. And then once they're in, inhale a few times, so it can get to your brain all the way, as far as you can inhale it, and that's it. You feel like awakening straight away, senses fix. This is for the nose, and then we move to the eyes. So the eyes are, we touched base already, is a bit of splashing first, we cleanse it first. There are special substance for the eyes as well, so the eyes can accumulate lots of phlegm as well, lots of ama. They also detoxifying organ, right? You might notice sometimes as God is here, you wake up with a little bit of a sticky kind of substance. If that's happening, that means the body trying to eliminate some stuff. So to preserve and to keep it clean and to cool that aspect of the eyes, there are Ayurvedic oils, but they're not actually oils. They made with honey. They made with some other herbs and substances which are beneficial for that area, and it's quite a procedure. And they're called Eliania Kunjambu. Eliania Kunjambu. It's a bit of a name. Anjana is called as well. People do in different cultures as well. The Muslims also do, you know, that kind of, they put the black things around, the Anjana stuff. That's also for the eyes actually, not for the beauty. And with this stuff, your eyes are, your perception much better. You can, the colors pop up, your subtlety, your vision is better. You start to notice little things. Karen actually always tells me, confirms me that, oh, you can see like from back, like notice the little things, and yeah, with that, and your eyes feel like look white and sort of clear. And that's quite important if you work with people as well. It's like your eyes, you can tell about your health is the shine in your eyes. It's the best way to check your overall health. If the person with dull eyes, with like, you know, red and yellow sometimes, and just that kind of no shine, no in the corner of it, then you might need to address it. That means that one of the symptoms of something going wrong there. So one of the things to look after it is this Elenia Kunjambu. It's a little bit slightly intense for a few seconds only, like maybe for 30 seconds. You put. Someone wants to try? Yeah? Okay, come. Hands are clear? Yeah. So the way to put it is you're gonna put 2 drops on each. You keep it upside down. I normally keep it upside down, otherwise it's quite thick and it's difficult to get it out of it. So you put it on 2 at the same time, and then with your big thumb you pull the lower eyelid. Yeah. You pull the lower eyelid out, and you put with those 2 drops inside, and like wipe it into your, so they go inside.
Actually touching your eyes, aren't you? It's just on the
Yeah, just on the eyes, but inside.
Sorry, I can't see. Whereabouts do you put it?
So you put it on your index fingers, and then with your thumbs you pull the eyelids, lower eyelids out, and then you put it there, just behind
the eyelid.
and then wipe it in and up. Close your eyes and move your eyes into the corners, so until it kind of passes around.
So you don't touch the actual eyeball, you put it just behind the lid?
You could touch a little bit of an eyeball.
Okay.
It kind of needs to be there, whatever works to get it there. And that's where it's the easiest to get there. Yeah.
So your This blue one.
So,
Direct maker. It's okay.
yeah. And then just stay there
That's where it is.
for some time. So there will be some moisture start coming out, and you will notice it will work for almost a couple of hours. There's some stuff, if you haven't done it before, for like a few months, you will see like how much stuff is coming out of it, and you're like, wow, it was all there at some point. So that if you feel any drops, there's sometimes tissue. Anybody have tissue? So you can have something to wipe it at some point. I normally just stand in front of the something where I can feel it's coming, and then I just drop it, and it's kind of coming out, like, and then I come stand there. And then at some point, how is it? Is it disappearing?
It's coming.
Okay. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's quite intense for the first 10 seconds. It's mellowed out now.
Yeah.
How often do you do it?
You do it daily. So what I'm saying now is every day. It's a daily thing. If the sensations are still there, then you just continue staying there and just take a pose, a little meditation of the day. Then it starts gathers in the corners, the black. You start feeling also release towards the nose. It's just softens all the mucousy areas, phlegms. It just opens it all up, all the pores. If you know the name, then you can just get the right one. So if you need to have a look at something, you can ask. Can remind me your name?
Angela.
Angela. You can ask Angela to show you around.
Dmitry, do you have this like written down like this thing or something?
Yes, we normally it's in a program, Sadhama program, where we online. So we understand first your predominances and like who you are, and then we tailor the program. So that's where it's written down. Otherwise, it's Ashtanga Hridaya. About Ashtanga Hridaya, I won't tell you the names like I'm saying to you. Elianir Kunjambu, you can buy it there. It's just saying, okay, those are herbs or those are tastes need to be present. So I'm giving you a little bit updated version to the thing. But, so yeah, write us and you can send it over. Yeah, is it feeling good? Okay, good stuff. And then afterwards, it works for a little while, a little bit more, maybe for another 20 minutes or so. You just wash it. You splash it with water. And again, I use cold water. It's possible to have warm water. And then you also wash again in about an hour and a half, or just get the black bits out. You might have like some black bits in the corners of the eyes again. Within the first 2 hours, it's continue releasing that stuff. So just be aware.
Can I just ask, what if you wear contact lenses if you can't obviously put them up?
Just without them, before you put them up, it actually would be really beneficial. So it does. So your moisture content around the eyes will be more efficient.
You need to wait until
Yeah, you wait until you wash it off. So once you wash it off, it's okay. And then anything which be just released to your corners, and then you just remove from your corners. It's okay. So the next one is the Dhumapada, is the 11th Dhumapada, which is means the inhalation of the smells. So you balance the Kapha dosha this way with the inhalation of the smokes. And you can make yourself, there are a special, unfortunately they don't really sell them, but it's, I can tell you how to make one. it's like incense stick, something you make out of cloth. So you take either silk, clean silk, or the fine cotton cloth, and you put ghee on it to first moisture it, and then you put few herbs like turmeric, calamus powder, and black pepper, crushed black pepper, corn, and you put it all in it, and you let it dry. Put it on the sun or leave it wherever, and then you roll it into the tube. You burn it with the fire, and then once it's picked up, like an incense, you get the fire out, and the smoke will be just releasing. You can make like a corn-like shape. There are special things sold, but you can just make the sort of tube out of paper, something like that. Roll the paper, and then in one nostril you 3 times inhale, and that will also will heal any pathogens in the lungs. It will just cleanse the entire passages of your air system. Also, it's quite stimulating, so it's quite good to have, and it balances all the oils we've been using. So you put lots of oil on the body, and then you need to balance it out as well with the Dhuma powder. Next one is the number 12, is our favorite one. It's the yoga, or the physical exercise. So the physical exercise needs to be adjusted to your nature, and Ayurveda and yoga always came together. When it came to West, unfortunately, one wing of the bird was forgotten, and now the yoga teach the same thing for thousands of people. So that's not necessarily how it was always prescribed. So one size doesn't fit all, unfortunately, not just shoes but also in yoga. And you find out which works for you, and we can help if you want to. That's what we do, Sadhama programs. In Ayurveda it says that you don't exhaust yourself, so you practice to the 50% of your capacity, because basically you will need the energy for the rest of the day, right? So I know the Pitta people might think, oh, if I haven't sweat in the yoga class, then the teacher is rubbish. I saw the other one, it's much better. So there's all that kind of stuff going on, but actually it's not about it. The Pitta in fact needs opposite. They need cooling down, they need that kind of pressure in there, small intentions with all the, because the yoga is a bit of a massage, right? It's all the twists, all the pressures, and like moving down, for example, folding, not much of heating techniques, but the kapha instead needs like stimulation, and actually need the circulation going in the morning. So they need to have a more intense practice, and they can get away with it better. For Vata people, they can be quite stiff naturally. It's the dryness quality is there, so you need to approach gently, flowing and slowly, but also develop strength and flexibility. So you don't get too weak with time. So Vata people can get weak, so they need to practice that strength, but not to exhaust. So very important not to exhaust. because it's easy for other people to exhaust themselves. 13 is the Abhyanga self-massage with oils, and that oils also can be tailored to your predominances. Again, we, as a general use, we can use the sesame oil, so the most nurturing oil for our skin. It's quite oily though, so in the summer for pitta it's better to use the coconut oil or the sunflower oil. It's fine to use, but the winter is okay, everyone can do the sesame oil. For kapha people, they could use a mustard oil, some more heating oils. You can also get the oils for massage online. If you type in the massage oil for pitta dosha, massage oil for kapha dosha and stuff like that, there are combinations. What I do, I just mix some essential oils or some herbs, or I just make my own with herbs. So you know what herbs you need for your dosha, and then you just combine them. There's a way how you brew it and make it. It's a little bit could be involved because you have to evaporate the water, so get all the water solubles out, and then you boil it in oil, get all the oil soluble phytonutrients from the herb, and was coordinating production in hempen for first several years, and yeah, it was quite interesting to see afterwards how the oils are done in Ayurveda, that 1,000 years of because you know the CBD oils and other oils which we use is also how we extract those phytonutrients from the herbs. You can put some essential oils for your predominance to mix it in, and you start from the top and you go down. So you pay main attention to your ears, your head, and your soles of the feet. So this is you massage. What I would recommend to do is just first you put the oil on your skin, all exposed here, by the movement of your hair, not against the hair, and towards your heart. And this, you put the oil everywhere, and then you go back the second round where you little bit massaging it. Second round, you massage it again from up down, like pressure a little bit. It's actually excellent after exercise, so all the blood can distribute. And you finish with your feet. And by the time you've done those 2 rounds, it's about 10 minutes, 15 minutes past. It's enough for oil to absorb. If you do it very rarely, then you stay in oil longer, so 20 minutes or so. Sometimes if you do it like once a week, then you stay for half an hour or longer if you can. But if you do it daily, then these 2 rounds is enough. And in fact, this is a daily procedure. It's only enough oil for 24 hours for lubrication of the skin, of the mentation, of the renewal of the epidermis level in our body. You feel amazingly afterwards. You feel very light and uplifted, and it's the digestion works much better. It's like a nourishment from you. This way you can eat food, but this is also the body receives the prana from the oil, and lightness appear, the stiffness disappear, that kind of rigidity can go. You can become more friendly even, because you're more joyful to life. As I find. I normally do it when I teach class, and then I do it after, and so driving afterwards, so happy. 14 is Udvartana or Uptan, is the the powders on your body. So to absorb that excess of oil, you don't just go to the shower and put the gel with the, what they put there, sulfate monoxide and stuff like that, or some other benzone, whatever nonsense ingredients. Have a look at the shower gels and what is there. Basically, the rule in Ayurveda: if you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin. The skin is as absorbent as your mouth, so it absorbs the stuff. And the main thing why not to use those conventional showers and soaps, even because of the dryness. So we don't want to dry off the skin, particularly Vata as well, but all doshas actually, it is quite relevant to all of them. The skin gets dry very quickly, and there are no Ayurvedic soaps, by the way. So nowadays they are appearing some kind of stuff, but normally use the powders. And the easiest way to get it is the mung dal flour. Just buy mung dal flour. You know dal which you eat, mung dal, like you get that, or oat flour. Oat flour is also good. What you do, you just have a separate pot. I normally mix it with warm or cold water. Don't put like hot water, because hot water is gonna cook it. So you just put something and make like a yogurt-like substance, like a creamy substance. You mix it and then you put it on your body. You use it as a shower gel instead of shower gel. So you make it. Sometimes I just do it in the hand when I don't have I just put the flour, the mung dal flour in my hand, and then I rub it. And then you can also buy udvartana, uptan, it's called, the special powders with certain herbs and stuff like that, also enhancing. For kapha dosha is very important procedure. Kapha need that roughness to the skin. It's actually, you need to exfoliate, and for kapha dosha you need to rub those powders in, some of them even in dry condition. So like rubbing them help. Also it helps to balance the earth element in the body. So you bring in the earth to the skin. Then you wash it off with the warm water. Don't put the hot water on your head. So the head always washes with the cold water. You can have like a suitable temperature for you, but not hot. So the hot water is not suitable for head wash. So even your hair, just wash it with slightly cold water. Particularly that area on the back, if you need to cool down quick, this area for pitta, you can cool down quick, put in something cold in here. That helps a lot. And then wash it with the warm water, and then don't go too mad with your towel. Just tap. Let the rest of the oil, if it is there, let it be there. Normally it washes off very fine. As well, you can use the same oil, alienation, for the hair, or you can mix the shampoo. Hopefully you have like something organic shampoo with the 50% of oil. Just mix it and see what happens. It's much better for your hair. It's much softer afterwards, and you can wash it off with those powders again as well. So normally you can see in India that people that go with little bit oily hair, and it's kind of normal here. It's not common, but not necessarily daily. For hair, it doesn't say you need to do it daily. Just do it other time. Oh well, we got to the 15 naturally. That's the washing procedure, and that's the washing procedure I told you. Pitta people can slowly getting into cold, more of a cool water. They should prioritize to cooling down. The kapha people, it's okay to have warm, and the vata people, it's okay to have warm. But as I said, the head, it's better to cool. Well, those are the main procedures. If you wake up in this time, as in the Brahma Muhurta, then you've got this time, and it's just a pleasure to slowly do the routine. You'll get into it, and then it becomes quick as well. So it's not too long. You just do done, half an hour, something. Most of those procedures can be done, but then I do after yoga, and yoga you can spend more time depending what you do there. But enjoy that time. It's one of the best time for yourself. In Vedic tradition, it says the morning is your time. Spend it for you. The daytime, spend it for society. What you do, share your skills, make your skills available for people. And the evening is for family, for your friends and family. So step out. So use that day, that morning wisely, and unwrap for yourself that kind of feeling of the steadiness. Slowly do the things, good things for you, and you set your day up so it unfolds for you very naturally. So everything starts there. If you get that right, everything else just unfolds beautifully. Any questions?
They do this. Oh, sorry. Go.
Obviously, I guess that setting a kind of task to do it every single day at the beginning might be quite hard.
Yes.
So maybe just try and ease yourself into it.
That's it. Nice. In our programs, what we do, we split it in 3 steps because it can overwhelm, particularly like Vata people. So many things, and then don't do anything. So take one thing or a couple of things which resonates with you, which you feel that yes, this is gonna help me out. I feel the connection to it. Just do that, right? Once it's natural, add one more thing. Add one more thing. For me, it was very important to understand one thing. What is discipline? Discipline is not beating yourself up, right? Or every time. Discipline is just when you remember, you do it. And that's it. And you remember that in the day, I'm just gonna do it now. There's no other time than now. You just do it, and then you remember. And you remember maybe a few things at a time, what can fit to you and what you felt connected with. Just maybe when you come back, or even tomorrow, just like put it to action, one thing. Or you do it on yourself and then you remember. And that's hopefully can stay with you.
I was just saying, I assume that all this is done for food. What about drinking water?
Yes, okay, good question as well. So drinking water is as well a procedure which is quite important. Many people start their day with a cup of tea or cup of coffee or beer even. There are all the sort of traditions out there, and Ayurveda is quite clear about it, that ideally you start the day with a warm cup of water, clean water. That means also there is a way to make it digest and pass through digestion very easily, and the water can be a healing as well. There are ways where you can pacify your dosha depending what type of water you drink. So for Pitta people, for example, you boil the water and you cool it down and you drink that water. And the way to do it, you boil it halfway. So you boil out half of the volume of the water. And then this water becomes a medicine for Pitta dosha. For Kapha dosha, you boil out quarter. And for Vata dosha, you boil out 3/4. So you're left with a quarter of the water. And you drink this water. For Vata and Kapha people, you drink warm water, or like could be hot. So you don't burn obviously, but you can feel nice in your belly, that kind of warmth rattling there when you have this nice warming drink. But for Pitta people, it's better to have a little bit more cool it's pleasant in the morning to have this little bit more warmer oil, and that's basically awakens all the processes of your digestion system. Peristaltics start to work as well. If you have any constipation problems, that can help dramatically. In fact, if you can't get the second thing of the list, going to the toilet, can't get it right, then get the water in, and that will stimulate the peristaltic, and then you might be able to achieve what you wanted to achieve. And water, you don't mix. Ideally, you just do it on its own, let it digest as well, half an hour at least, 45 minutes or so. Drink it a little bit before the food, but not after food. So there are like ways where people having a bucket of tea after, straight after food. Even worse when it's Coca-Cola, some kind of like a ice cold drink. So think of your digestion as a gentle, very subtle fire which you just ignite it. In the morning it's very fragile, it's very weak. It's a kapha time from 6 to 10. In the evening, 6 to 10 in the evening and 6 to 10 in the morning, it's a kapha time. The digestion fire is very, very weak. So kapha is of water, right? So it's like slow digestion, 6 to 10. You need to ignite it with the herbs like ginger or with the cardamom, some other turmeric, stuff like that can be added, or cinnamon, yeah. Stuff like that, depending on your constitution, you can ignite. If you eat in some more heavier products, ideally is dry fruits are good, nuts, all that sort of stuff for the morning. And you can imagine if you eat that plate or put it in the fire to digest, and then you pour the water on top of it, what happens? It's just like dissolve all the fermentation juices, right? Because it's the fire is more sane, so you can see it. But how does it work? Fire works through the fermentation, right? Or through the digestive enzymes which break down products, right? It's like, make it digest, like bile, stuff like that. All the liquids in our stomach. That's what pitta is. Pitta is that bile, kind of predominance of that bile, the fire.
So how long would you wait after eating before you would drink a liquid?
Depending on how heavy the meal was, but 1 hour and a half at least, or something like that, or 2 hours sometimes. And also don't worry about it's a myth that you have to drink 2 liters a day. Actually, in Ayurveda, I also was completely surprised. I was shocked when I saw the original text. I started reading original text about it, and it's quite shocking to hear that you don't need that. Everywhere we hear, I even see people with those big bottles saying like time on each, like every 15 minutes you get those bottles.
Amber has one here.
But it's you look fine. I saw some people who like swollen and like really like in
Because
a
I don't drink.
bad way. Maybe you forgot. That's why. So you drink accordingly to your thirst, and just as much to quench that thirst. Only that much. Not more, not less. Just drink when you thirst, and that's it. And don't worry about it. Get your moisture with oils, with all of that stuff, with food, with fruits. It's all there for you. Particularly kapha people, like the tea, big cups. it's all moisture. Right? Using the water as medicine. And what I didn't say about water, you don't, once you boil that water, you have it for a few hours, still fresh. Don't like leave it for overnight. Don't drink overnight water. So it just loses the pranic quality. Yeah.
How much of your dosha is inherent and how much of it is shaped by your upbringing in life?
There is actually a two type of diagnosis normally happens, so you can relate to two doshas. First one called prakriti, which is like innate nature you're born with, and that was to do with your roots, like previous generation, and your father and mother, like how they how it's happened, how you happened and stuff like that. So there's a quite complex way of generating that dosha within, and that one you work with diet, with herbs and the exercises. What you do is basically intake, like foods, herbs, is the intake, and the impressions, like what you do and how you do, your attitude to your yoga, for example, what kind of activity you do, you can balance that way. You, for example, if you are Kapha or Pitta dosha, then you know, so one dosha, and it's actually better to have one dosha than two doshas. Quite often people have double doshas. That means 4 spikes out of balance. So remember, the dosha translates as issue. Dosha is issue. It's something which is out of balance. If you are one doshik, so that means two elements slightly out of the balance. Of sama dosha, when all elements align, this is a proper health. When all elements align, then you are healthy and live holy and happy life. And then you have a second one, which is a vikruti. Vikruti is the current state where you are at now, and that can cause by your lifestyle, by your routine. Dinachariya routine is actually quite a fundamental to put that current state in order. Vata dosha goes out of the balance first, pushes out of the balance all other doshas, and if the routine not in place, the Vata dosha is gonna be out of balance. It's like 80 or 90%. So you can't get a healthy Vata dosha without a good routine. It needs to be, you need to know, otherwise and then it pushes everything else down. And the diseases, or it's only manifestation to happen much longer before it all starts. Enough for today. Good. Okay. Well, you got the list to crack on, but yeah, so remember it. I'm gonna present you that you made it to the end of the speech. Who doesn't have one? Oh wow, it's quite a few. There you go. Let me just.
I think the tongue thing was just about not having
There you go, for good health.
Thank you so much.
I always have my husband to
I'll also tell you how to clean it well. You just from the top of from the root of the tongue, you just go and then to side slightly, and several times, 6-10 times, and then you clean that. Every time you do it, wash it. Every time wash it off, or just get rid of stuff on it until it's clean. And then you can also do it in the evening as well. Also in Ayurveda it says if you want to bring more pleasure to food you eat, you cleanse the palate every time you change the course of the meal. You can just wash the palate. Sommelier do, right? They kind of wash the palate and then they spit out. Okay, well, hopefully this is for benefits to you.
Thank you so much. Incredible.
Thank you. Thank you for watching, and hope this will be of benefit to you and to your family and society where you live, of course. I'll add the information about the products and about the names which I've used today to the description below the video, so check it out, and also the name of the recommendation of the original Ayurvedic text, Ashtanga Hridaya. I also put in the description. And yeah, if you like to learn more, head to Sadhama.com website where we develop the programs for people, but also you can subscribe to YouTube channel and yeah, follow us on the social medias where we, in the stories, I often share some of the details of the routine or some of the yogic aspect, because there is Ayurvedic but there is also a yogic routine which I haven't quite covered in this workshop, so, and I normally share it in the social media and stuff like that, so please stay in touch. Blessings to your day.